There's no sound.
I'm not able to get sound here either.
Yeah, he's muted.
Is going to be on her way, so when she gets here, we'll make sure we take a moment to introduce her and our director of human resources as well, Director Claudia Ariano. I don't think she was here either, so we will be sure that we introduce them when they arrive, but they will be sure that they'll be here soon. So really, this is an exciting night, and it's exciting for so many reasons. Can I just get a hand and show me how many of you are coming in brand new? This is your first one coming into Pacific Grove Unified School. Now that is exciting. That's almost half of the family. Yeah, I think welcome, and that really is. I know the anticipation that you're all feeling as new parents, and so a lot of the information we'll be sharing tonight is specific to you. But of course, that means that the rest of you in the room, you already have an older sibling, an older child now within our district, so you know a lot. But TK, right, and Kinder, it's a whole new ballgame. And so we really want to be able to give as much information as we can to you this evening. Before I introduce our principals who are going to be sharing a little bit about what we'll be talking about this evening, I just want to talk about two big things. When I say big things, it's two words that you're going to hear from me a lot. You're going to hear a lot from our district office staff, and that is connection and belonging. And I think those are two pieces. When I think about TK, our kindergarten students at this young age, a big part of the role that we do, that we work together as educators, is to ensure that our students are coming in, no matter what age, but particularly when they are this young and they're being introduced to their school years, that we want to be able to create an environment where they feel that they are connected and that they belong. And that starts with their principal, it starts with their teacher. And that's why they are here this evening as well, to really be able to talk to you a little bit about what you can expect in these important and exciting years ahead. But our role truly is to be sure our goal is to ensure that every student comes to school, they're excited about learning, and they feel a sense of safety and have a connection with the adults that are there to support them and the students, right? Their peers, their friends, and that's our job. But we do that together with you as families. But we can't do it alone. And so the fact that you are here this evening, that really sets the tone, and that shows us how important this is to you, because it's a collaborative process, it's a team process, and we're excited to be starting that journey together. So with that, I would like to go ahead and really introduce our two principals. So first of all, with us this evening is our interim principal at Robert H. Down Elementary, Mrs. Mary Rydell. And then also at the back, here at the front, our principal of Forest Grove Elementary, Mrs. Abby Aubrey. And it's my pleasure to introduce them both. I'm going to go over the agenda, and we can give them a big round of applause.
Welcome, everybody. Hard act to follow, Dr. Adamson. Beautiful words, and every word is true. I was a new parent in here. I'm thrilled to have heard those words, and I'm an old parent here. I have been in this district for 30 plus years, and my husband and I raised our 4 children in these schools from kindergarten through high school. So I couldn't sell this place more. I love Pacific Grove. Education has been wonderful, and I think all of you will be very, very pleased. I get enough about the people I've worked with over the years. Some come, some go, some retire, whatever. But each year has been a real gift to me, and I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very grateful to be, I was asked to be an interim at Robert Down right now, Mr. Matt Bell. I'm sure lots of you know Mr. Bell. He and I are sharing the position until Mr. Keller returns. We're having a wonderful experience. We're sharing days. We used to work together in the old days, so there was no small talk. As soon as we were asked, we just got right in there. And I couldn't be working with a better staff. I've also worked before at Forest Grove, so with elementary schools, it was just awesome. As the middle school. So what I'd like to do now is just introduce the TK and kindergarten teacher that from Robert Down. And I was going to start to paraphrase some things, but I'm just going to read what they wrote me because I asked each of them late in the day yesterday to please describe yourself. Is there something regarding your experience of a kindergarten, being a kindergarten teacher or a TK teacher? So I'm going to introduce first Julie Kelly. I'm going to read to you what she wrote. This is exactly the kind of thing I was asking for. She's been teaching for 30 years. She started her career 30 years ago as a kindergarten teacher. She moved to Pacific Grove 9 years ago, and she's taught preschool, TK, and kindergarten, both at Forest Grove and Robert Down. I, being Julie, love the energy and optimistic positivity day in and out of the TK classroom. This is the fun part. I live for the dance parties. We end our days dancing our socks off with a bubble machine and disco ball in full swing. I mean, take a look at Mrs. Keller. Can you imagine her doing that? She was awesome to talk to. So that's Julie. She teaches TK. Next is Erica Chavez. Are you good? I think, Erica, you could have written a whole lot more because I know you. I've known you since you're in elementary school. I know. She wrote, I have been teaching for 14 years. I love experiencing learning through the eyes of my students, witnessing the discovery. So that's not very many words, but a lot of information and a lot of power there, and a lot of emotion. And so Erica's fun to watch. I've observed her many times as well. She's energetic. That's her middle name, I think. Okay, last but not least, whoops, you're down there, Christina. Sorry, Christina, that's all right. And the next one is Christina Renteria. One of our kindergarten teachers at Robert Down. She says she's been teaching, get this, for 29 years, 25 of which has been in kindergarten. 4 to 6 year olds are magical, so caring and funny. It is the only job that you just show up and you are hugged instead of sitting sitting on a ton of buddies. It is literally the absolute best job in the world. I think it's hilarious when they call me mom and get embarrassed and laugh themselves and say, oh, hey, I called you mom. That's Christina. So thank you very much. I know you're going to have an informative evening here. So I'll pass it over to Forest Grove Principal Abby Gardner.
Mary is so amazing. But I have to share with you, all of our TK and kinder teachers, and to be frank with you, all of our teachers in general at Forest Grove are some of the best I've ever seen. I've been in education for almost 2 decades, and I would place my own kids at either school. But I can tell you, any day that you walk into kinder, I'm looking over at my team or TK, you will hear so many laughs. Sometimes a few tears, but it's normally because they're saying goodbye to you for the first time. But quickly those tears turn into smiles. Then they're back to giggling. They're building friendships like crazy. And beyond anything, you're going to see your kids learn more in the next year than you ever thought possible. But these super veteran teachers, everyone has been in the game for so long. And you would never know it because they're down on the floor with your kids. They're leading them to lunch line. They're helping to wipe their noses. They're just, their hearts are still so in it. You would never know that they've been in it for 20 plus years. So our TK teacher, unfortunately, is not able to be with us tonight. She had a previous family engagement that was planned a year ago. So we're going to give her a pass, but In her spirit, let's give a round of applause for Teresa McDaniel. Two or three? Would you like to come right more?
Well, there.
Well, three. Because we did not write down a script, I'm going to hand them the mic and just have them introduce themselves and add in anything that they'd like to. But you can just say your name and then at least they hear your voice.
I know. I'm Summer Wright. I teach kindergarten at Forest Grove. I'm Kristen Sweeney. I teach kindergarten, currently 3 days a week, and I co-teach with Michelle. Hi, I'm Michelle Minskowski, and I'm getting over the cough that everyone has been having, so please forgive me, I sound kind of odd. And I'm having such a fun night. I haven't been back here since I graduated high school, but it's also really fun because I'm teaching at the school that I went to when I was little, so really love being there.
Sorry, I just thought I would get them warmed up because they're going to be presenting most of the slides. But our agenda for the night is up top. So we just did our introductions of all of our staff. We have a few more that will be joining us soon. But we also will be reviewing our kindergarten and TK programs. We'll be talking about registration timelines and online registration information and processes. We'll be talking about residency and volunteering guidelines. And we'll also be discussing our before and after school recreation program, which you'll catch us calling BASRP. It just means before and after school care. And then our wonderful PTAs at both of the sites are at this center table right here, and they'll be sharing a lot more about the program soon.
Thank you so much, Principal Arbor. For those of you that may not know me, I know that Dr. Adamson introduced me, but I'm Buck Rogan. I'm the Director of Curriculum and Special Projects for the district. I want to take a moment and introduce some of our other district staff that has joined us here this evening. First of all, starting off in back, we have our Director of Human Resources, Claudia Ariano, joining us this evening. We've got our Director of Student Services, which means all things special education, Yolanda Clark Anthony. We have our Director of Food Services, Robert Silvera, also joining us here. And I believe that is all the district level administrators that are here, but we also have our coordinator for the BASRP program. I'm going to hear from him a little bit later, Jeff Erickson. And we have also one of our clerks from the office, Kimberly Ortiz, and she'll talk to you a little bit about the process for the volunteer. So with that, we're going to move on, and we've already done that. Well done, everybody. We are making good time. First of all, we wanted to bring a couple of our teachers back up here and talk a little bit about what you will see and hear in kindergarten, sort of set the scene for us. So I don't know if we can have a teacher from Robert Down and one from Forest Grove kind of come up and speak a little bit about this. How about Summer and Erica? You guys can talk a little bit about what you can expect to see in kindergarten. That is a voluntold moment right there.
Thank you. What you can expect to see in TK and kindergarten is small groups, big groups, teacher talking with kids, kids talking with kids. Covered that. We play a lot. We use our hands inside, outside, and we talk about what we see in the world around us and how it relates to what we're learning in the classroom. I think that's all that. Yeah. I did a good job.
Well done. I think that was one of the other things that always amazed me when I was the principal at Forest Grove too, was just to see the that the students made so fast that when the kindergarten students and the TK students first arrived, you can tell that being in, a little larger setting is new for a lot of them. But by the end of a couple of weeks, they are used to the full day, going from 8:45 until 2. And they really have gotten into the routine of not only going to class, but also going to the special classes like PE, the library, the computer lab, going to lunch, going to recess, that taking all those different, activities and incorporating them into routine. Our talented staff at Robert Down and at Forest Grove really do an incredible job of turning them into elementary school students in an organized manner. I wanted to talk a little bit about what the transitional kindergarten program is. This is the first year really of a 2-year kindergarten program. And it's a program designed for students who are going to turn 5 between September 2nd, 2024 and June 2nd, 2024. 5, yes, sorry. Also, they're going to be on the same calendar and schedule as the kindergarten students. So it's really a parallel day that they wind up running, as well as a parallel year. So they're going to go to school just as many days as the kindergarten students go. They're going to go just as long as the kindergarten students go. All of the services that are available to kindergarten, like BA, SRP, are also going to be available to the transitional kindergarten students. It's going to be the same registration process as the kindergarten students who are new to the district as well. And then also, it's going to be located on both campuses in 2024 and 2025. Previously, the TK program, we only had one classroom, and that was located at Forest Grove. And last year, we expanded the program to Robert Down. So Robert Down also has a TK program that's located on campus, as you heard from Miss Kelly. So the critical dates to know if for the 24-25 school year is listed up there in back of me on the screen. If your child turns 5 on or somewhere before September 1st, 2024, then your child is going to be attending kindergarten. If your child turns 5 on or between September 2nd, 2024 and June 2nd, 2025, your child is going to go to transitional kindergarten. Or if your child turns 5 on or after June 3rd, 2025, they'll be eligible for kindergarten in 2025. So those are the dates. And my guess is that you already know that because you were here and attending the meeting. As far as the residency goes, this map is available on our website. Basically, if you look at the red line that is drawn on that map, anywhere north of the red line, kind of above it, is the Robert Down district boundary. And anywhere above the red line in PG, as well as our families that live in Pebble Beach, are going to attend Forest Grove. And when you go to register, we're going to have folks fill out the online form that's either found on the Forest Grove or the Robert Down websites. Everything that we do now is an online pre-registration process. And then the actual registration process itself, you're going to get a link on or around May 1st. We gradually moved that date up. It used to be in the middle of the summer. And then we put it in the school year last year. And now we're even going to move it up a little bit sooner. So we get a good idea of what the enrollment numbers are going to look like for our program. Every year, the most difficult numbers to predict are the numbers that are going to be filling up our TK and kindergarten classrooms because there's no previous grade really to judge that by. Although it's getting better for us because we got the transitional kindergarten program in order for us to be able to predict the kindergarten program. By the way, if you want to refer to this slideshow, it is available on the district website as well as the school websites as well. Okay, when you go to register your child, there's going to be some critical documents that you're going to have. The first of all is your child's original birth certificate. You bring that into the school makes a photocopy of it and hands it right back to you. I know how precious a birth certificate is. Had one for my daughter and we were really careful about whenever we handed it over for anything. So we understand that. And we'll make a copy and hand it right back to you. Also going to need the child's up-to-date immunization record. That's a requirement for children to attend our schools. And we'll have a little bit more information about that later. And then in items 3 and 4, there are different kinds of documents that you are able to provide. The first one is a proof of residency from this group of documents. We need a current signed lease agreement listing the parent and guardian name, the student name, and the name of the property manager and telephone number, or a current mortgage or property tax bill. So if you're renting, we're going to need that lease agreement. If you own your home, then, the mortgage statement or the property tax bill will serve as proof of residency. Then there also needs to be a second proof of residency that verifies your residency in our district. And that is a current utility bill, such as a PG&E bill, water bill, garbage, or cable. And it must be dated within the last 30 days. For residents who have just moved here, we have that 30-day grace period for them to get established and get those the kinds of proofs of residency to us. So are there any questions about that? Excellent. That's good to know. Okay, and here is a little bit of the health information. Like I said, you will have access to this presentation by either going to the district website or the schools. And so all students need to be fully immunized before the registration can be approved. If you need to know which shots that your child is required to have, you can go on that shotsforschool.org site, and they will list the shots that are required for kindergarten. And then the other health forms that need to be completed. The first one is a health exam for school entry. It's a basic physical form that you can take to the pediatrician, and they can sign off on your child's health. And then the oral health assessment form you can take to your child's dentist, and then your child's dentist is able to sign off on that for the schools. These are all links also. So if you do go to the presentation, you can link to these forms, print them out, and they'll be very handy for you to have. If you'd like to volunteer, we'd love to have you volunteer in our schools. You can volunteer and go on field trips when the class goes on field trips. However, there are a few requirements that you have to fulfill in order to do that. We have to make sure that you pass the fingerprinting for us. That's a requirement of any adult that's going to volunteer in our district and any adult that's going to work in our district. One of the things that you're going to hear from us over and over again is that it's a priority for us to keep our children safe. And this is one very important step that we take in keeping our children safe. And that is to make sure that that any of the adults that are on campus have had a fingerprint clearance. So there's the paperwork that is available. I don't know if this is a link or not. I think it is, and it is. And also, Kimberly, would you like to talk a little bit about what the fingerprinting process looks like? Whether you want to or not, I think I'm going to ask you to. Okay, so I really appreciate it.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So when you want to get fingerprinted, it does take about 2 to 3 days to get the prints back from the DOJ. So if the field trip is that week, try to come in early as possible. The one nice thing about our fingerprint process is you only need to get fingerprinted once, and it's good for the whole time your kid is in the district. We do get subsequent arrest notices, so if you ever do get arrested or anything comes up, we'll get notified right away when that happens. So it just makes it easier so you guys don't have to keep on coming back in to get fingerprinted every year like other districts do. And we typically take appointments only from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and it takes about 15-20 minutes.
Kimberly's cost still 20.
Still $20 cash only.
I was gonna ask that.
And we just need a valid driver's license. If you don't have a valid driver's license, it can be any state or passport. That's it.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. That's super helpful. I always thought it was nice that you come in, you get the fingerprinting done when your child's in TK or kindergarten, and then you can volunteer the rest of the time that your child is in school. You can chaperone on any field trips, no matter what grade it is. And you can volunteer and be on campus and be a part of your child's life. This is such a heartwarming thing for us to see so many parents here. And it's one of the things that makes our district a very, very special place for our children. And that's that level of parent involvement that we have. And I think it's probably an opportune time for us to talk about our parent, teacher, student associations that are here joining us this evening. Chris, I'm going to start with you if you want to come up and talk to the parents about how they can get involved and just what PTSA does at Forest Grove.
Hi, my name is Chris James, and I have two kids, one in middle school, the other one at Forest Grove, and they both will be leaving soon to go to the middle school and to the high school. So this is my last year as parent of Forest Grove and as a PTA president. And it's really sad because I'm not originally from this area. So when I got involved with the PTA, I honestly became part of a family. And I never in my life imagined that I was going to be a PTA parent, because there's all this, stigma about them, and they're always asking for money, and, they're always asking you to volunteer, and bring things. But the reason we do this is because we have some really cool events for the kids, and they're your kids. So we are working for them. And we appreciate any help that you can give us, because really you're volunteering for them and for their friends. And we have a table here with some information about the PTA and what you can do, what it means to be part of the PTA. And I love it. Today I forgot that my kid was dismissed at 12. And I am the PTA president, and I forgot. And another member of the PTA was like, "Hey, Chris, Beckett's here. Do you want me to bring him home?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, yes." So we become family, and it is so great to be part of it. And like our superintendent said, you come here and you want to belong from the very beginning. And this is a good opportunity, I would say, to really belong and to help and to be part of this amazing community, for years to come. And I'm gonna pass it to Sakura.
Sakura, would you like to come up and say a couple words?
Sure, I'll say a couple.
On behalf of Robert Down.
I think Chris said pretty much everything. Thank you, Chris. My name is Sakura Papadakis. I have two kids at Robert Down. I have a 5th grader heading off to middle school next year, and a kindergartner. So welcome to the kindergarten family. I think really, Chris, you said everything. The only thing that I can add to that is that along with supporting your kids, our kids, we're supporting our teachers who are taking care of our, kids and educating them. We're partnering with them. So, and Chris, the stigma thing, I never thought I'd be a PTA parent either, PTA president. But really, we welcome all hands, any hands, 5 minutes of your time, day of your time, whatever you can give to help out would be amazing. So thanks so much for being here. This really is impressive, and thanks again. Welcome to the family.
Thank you for all the time. Very valuable thing to do is to join the PTSA groups. I think that some of the most fond memories that I had as principal at Forest Grove were things like the ice cream social that we did, the book drive that is part of the PTSA. I can remember that we did a scary movie night, and it really wasn't all that scary. It was like Hotel Transylvania or something like that. But looking out at the playground and seeing about 200 people out there, sitting as families on our playground with a little outdoor movie screen set up, and just having a great night for their kids. And I think that that's one of the things that's very important, as we come out of this period of separation that we all experienced a couple of years ago, is to come back and reconnect and truly be a community that, supports all of our children. And it's going to take some effort on our part to be able to do that, but you won't regret any time that you spend volunteering for the PTSA groups. I'm going to talk a little bit now about the before and after school recreation program. And I tell you what, your children are in outstanding hands with Jeff Erickson working as the coordinator for the BA SRP program. He's housed at Robert Down, but he coordinates the program for the entire district. And so, Jeff, I'm going to let you kind of take over and let folks know what an incredible service that you have.
Hello, again, my name is Jeff Erickson. I run both programs at Robert Down and Forest Grove. Our program starts at 7 o'clock in the morning. Your kids can get dropped off anytime between 7 and 8:30 when the first bell rings. And then after school, and we'll pick your kids up directly from the traditional kindergarten classroom and bring them back to our BSRP classroom until up to 6 o'clock. So your kids can be there all day if you want, for 11 hours if that's what you need to do. How we do it is, if you go to our website, make sure you log in and fill out the form. Even if you don't plan on bringing your kid to after school program, having you registered allows us the emergency drop-in. If you don't fill out the form first, we can't accept the kids in because we don't have your contact information. So please jump online. It is a separate registration compared to what we do for the district. It's a completely different thing. It's called Schoolworks. You'll see. You'll fill out the application, then we can bring your kids in anytime that you have an emergency. The rate is, it's a 30-minute rate, and it's $3 every 30 minutes. It is the best deal in town for childcare. $6 an hour. That's what we charge you. So, but it is charged every 30 minutes or a fraction thereof. If you're there at 4:01, you get charged 30 minutes. If you're there for 4:29, you get charged that same 30 minutes. So we have a staff of about 12 different people between the two sites. For traditional kindergarten and kindergarten, we have a ratio of 12-1. So we'll have, for every 12 students, we'll have at least one staff member watching over. And what we'll do is we will bring your kids into our classroom. We feed them, give them a snack right after school, read them a story usually. We have some free time before the kindergarten, or before the big kids come down. Then we go outside and we have about an hour or two of outside play, depending on how the weather is. We come back inside, we start doing homework, more free time inside until you come and pick your kids up. So like I said, please make sure you register. It's a separate registration. If you don't register, we can't bring your kids in, and it is, can't tell you how many times a week we get somebody coming in, can I just drop my kid off? And we can't unless you filled out that registration form. Please also, if you can, sign up for auto pay with the credit card. We bill twice a week, or twice a month, not twice a week, twice a month. And it's just an easy auto pay. You'll never get a bill if you sign up for auto pay. Do you have any questions for the SRP? Nope. All right, we'll get you back to butt. Please fill out that paperwork. It's a separate big form, please.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, I think that what we would like to do is to kind of bring our kindergarten and TK staffs back up here. Because I have to think that there are some questions out there in the audience, and we would just like to have our experts be available to answer them. So if you can just kind of walk up here, and then I'll hand the mic to you to answer the questions that folks might have. Or if there's any advice that you might have for our parents as they get ready to start this beautiful journey through our schools. First of all, are there any, you know what, how about we start with the advice?
Well,
Or a statement?
Statement, no statement. I was first gonna just mention some ideas or helpful hints that you might want to start off with. The first thing is, be sure to label your child's belongings with their name. That's really helpful. We always end up with a ton of sweaters and lost and found, which is huge, and those are some pretty nice sweaters out there, and you want them back, I would hope. Appropriate shoes is really important. We please highly recommend PE shoes. They do attend PE every day. So I would recommend closed-toed shoes, shoes that tie. But that's really important. Or Velcro. Or Velcro. Yeah, or Velcro, you're right. Velcro works. Another important piece of information is to send your child in play clothes. I would be really sad if they're wearing a beautiful dress and they got purple paint all over it, because purple seems to not wash out very well. And it's got purple paint on it, or they love that dress. So that's another important piece of information. Does anybody else have any pieces that you'd like to add?
I think, I always like to talk about like a backpack and a lunchbox. You know, a lot of times if parents get backpacks now or in the summertime, it's great for kids to like, it adds to the excitement, getting ready to go to school. It's also really helpful for them to practice learning how to open their backpack, learning how to manipulate, put their lunchbox in their backpack. There's whatever special kind of container that you use. I mean, we are there to help them, but it is really helpful if they know how to work their bento box or the zipper on their lunch box, or all of those kinds of things. And it I think just lends to some empowerment as well, if they know that they can do that.
May I add to that? Please make sure that the backpacks are large enough to hold a lunch pail, a folder, and their sweater and everything. Sometimes they get big artwork coming home and if they're trying to shove it in a little backpack. So if you make it standard size, that's really helpful for them.
There is also school lunch available.
Rita Austin's breakfast and lunch.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that is pretty amazing, and, it's a fantastic lunch, and it is, we call it snack, but it's we eat at about 9:30. And so there's always a snack, and then there's always school lunch available, and it is free, so.
Can I say something really quick about all of the things that the kid will need for school? At Forest Grove, we have a kit that is being curated by our teachers. So you just order this kit and it just, they deliver it to the classroom and it's ready for them the first day of school. So for anybody that goes to Forest Grove, we do have that program available and we can have it here and it's super helpful.
Can you repeat that on the microphone for people who are on?
Sorry. Can you just,
Or someone.
Me repeat what she just said?
Or someone.
Okay, there is a Forest Grove, through the PTA has curated a school supply box. And so, at the beginning, is it available now? It's available now.
Yeah.
So if you would like to not have to go to 7 different stores to find the big pencils, the big pencils that we ask for, you can just buy them right in this box and it will have everything that you need.
it's very easy for the parents.
Water bottles. If you're sending water bottles, it's very, along with the lunch boxes and backpacks, it's very helpful for them to learn how to not only open their water bottle, but close it. Because we often have water bottles that just get tossed back into backpacks and then everything gets wet and that tends to be a problem. That's about it. Do we want some questions? Yeah.
Well, I did have one more thing. What's really helpful is in the summer, if you turn their jackets inside out and teach them how to do that, would be really helpful as well. Because if they wear it home backwards, it's okay too, but some kids can be particular about that, so. Anything else anybody would like to ask? Is there any questions out there?
Go ahead. Yes.
Yes, hi.
About the TK program, can you talk about what's the then?
What do you do?
Bubbles.
They dance.
Bubbles. Our day in TK looks different every day because we're 4 and we're gonna be even younger this year. So we are very fluid in TK, which makes it a really special day. When they come into school, we play because that's what we do best. We're really, really good at it. We learn how to get along with friends and we do that by playing and learning how to share and executive functioning skills, the same thing they're talking about with emptying backpacks and stuff. We learn to do that stuff too. We are not quite as champions at it, but we're learning. And it's mostly about just trying your best and persevering. And so we do that. So TK day, we play first. We come in and have our calendar on the carpet. And this is all up to discretion because some days we need to play longer than we need to come inside. So we do whatever the kids need. Our program is fully driven by what our kids need. We come inside, we do a carpet time, we do calendar, we sing, we dance. We're all about partying in TK, so we have a lot of dance parties. So we do a lot of that. And then we go to PE after that, and then we go to snack. So we come back and we do snack as a class, and then we play some more after that. I know it sounds like we play a lot, but we learn a lot when we're playing. And then we come in and we do a story inside, and then we have center time where we do set up centers and they can choose which centers to go to. And the beginning of our year looks very different than our year now because some of us are ready for that. And some of us just are ready for one job and then we're ready to play again. And please know that we are listening to where your child's at because we're a developmental program. So your kids will get there. They're learning and loving learning, and that's the most important thing they do because they're gonna go to school forever. So it's totally fine that they're having a great time. Then after that, we go to lunch. We walk to the lunchroom and we have lunch with the whole school, which is really super dynamic. We know how to go through the lunch line. We are professionals at it. We know how to ask for white or chocolate milk, which is really a feat, and we are awesome at that. After that, we eat our lunch and then we go out and play with the kindergartners. So we have lunchtime with our kinder friends. And then we come back to the classroom. We have another story time, or we have our library time or one of our specials. Sometimes we have music in the afternoon time in that pocket. And then we have some more playtime. And then we have a dance party. And then we blow bubbles and then we go home. And that's all we do in TK. So we just play, but it sounds like, but we really do a lot of learning while we're playing. So it's, again, the center time, it gets stronger as the year goes on, but when we come in, we're 4. I mean, we have to remember, like, some of these kids have just turned 4. So we're really kind to these little people that need our love and attention, and whatever they need, we're there for them. So,
Teresa, was the TK teacher at Forest Grove. In addition to that, TK does follow the district adopted curriculum. And so our language arts curriculum is Super Kids. And so in those dance party center bubble times, there's exposure to the language arts curriculum, and then SWAN, which is the math curriculum as well. So
that's built into our center time. So we offer that in our center time. So those centers that the curriculum in our time is not a whole group instruction, because it's hard to give group instruction when you have 4-year-olds. For me, it's challenging. Teresa may be a master at it. I have not mastered
it's all centers, but
I have not mastered whole group in TK yet. So it's a big job. So, but we do work centers, and we have a full-time aide that's in there with us full-time also. So it's really nice to have that person. So we have 2 adults mastering the madness. It's pretty fun.
yes.
Oh, thank you. What's the numbers? What are your numbers like for kindergarten? And teach me how to be fraud.
Superintendent. We want to talk a little bit on numbers and classrooms.
I know, that's why I was just gonna have to be a little fun too.
Well, that's fine.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Let's see, so yes, numbers, great question. So we cannot go over 24 students in a classroom for TK. And so that is the limit that is state mandated. With that 24 students, we have to have 1 credentialed teacher and then also 1 instructional aide. So really it's 2 adults, which ultimately makes an adult to student ratio of 1:12. And so that's, those are the numbers we need to abide by. We, obviously our hope is always to try to, be under that, right? I mean, if we absolutely have to, go to 24, we will. So that will just really depends on enrollment. This year, we have 1 TK class at Forest Grove and 1 TK class at Robert Down. And that was really just based on and driven by our enrollment. We have the ability to have 1 TK class and an additional, a 2nd TK class at both sites. And really, if the need arises based on what our enrollment is, we are prepared to open a 3rd TK class. And that's ultimately going to depend on, as I said, on enrollment. The whole idea with pre-registration is it gives us the ability to get an idea of what numbers we are anticipating. At this time, we have enough students based on our pre-registration numbers to open a 3rd TK class. So we are looking and needing to make that decision, and that will be made in the next few weeks to identify exactly where that location is. Ultimately, our goal here within Pacific Grove Unified School District is to really be able to accommodate students according to their neighborhood home. And so that is obviously, that plays a big factor. And so that's what we're looking at. But again, it's still pre-registration time. We've talked to you about registration really only opens in May. So this really gives us that ability to plan. There are big decisions when we open up an additional class to what we have currently. because that means we need an additional teacher. We need to ensure the facilities are prepared. We have that classroom. We have to really be able to furnish it, right, with all the TK appropriate furniture. So those are all the things we're needing to look into. And so once we have that decision, we will definitely share that with all of you. But as I said, we have enough right now to open up a third TK class. That's really it. Yes, a question from the.
Will you also take into account, like, if they have an older sibling at Forest Grove, will you make more likely to get into TK at Forest Grove?
So those are criteria that we absolutely will be considering. We obviously, our first priority is to accommodate all of the students at their assigned neighborhood school. So that would be the first part of the criteria. And then we have a list of additional criteria that we follow according to a priority list. And so I won't go into all of those with you, now, but ultimately that's how we make that decision. What I will say to all of you this evening is that those decisions are probably the last decisions to be made. We accommodate students, who at their school of residency first, and then I would say, around June is where we start to look at students who are either have siblings at another school or wanting to accommodate that, so that's a factor. But there are extenuating circumstances, right, or certain situations, and that is something that we follow. We need to be sure that we are following and those criteria are in accordance with what we follow for all of our other grades. So what we do at TK will be no different to kinder, first, second. What I can tell you is if for any reason we're unable to accommodate a student at their neighborhood home, and I know this is in their neighborhood school, and I know this is information that has been posted on our website, and they do need to attend the school other than that of their neighborhood school for TK, kindergarten, they would automatically be able to return to their neighborhood school. So it really would only apply to 1 year. But again, we're looking at all of those circumstances and our goal is ultimately to be able to accommodate families with.
Are you able to share what the pre-registration numbers look like at each site?
I can share at this time that yes, we have more numbers at Robert Down than we do at Forest Grove. And so that's where we stand at this time. Not the exact numbers, we don't have those because we're still in pre-registration, but ultimately that's where we stand at this time. Any other questions for that?
So I know the first year is completed and they're proposing the first of December they live. But if you start that third TK class, like if I don't register for like 2 or 3 more months, then my child is going to
That's a great question. I definitely encourage families to really pre-register. I mean, that is the whole reason we started that process back in February, even the end of January. So the sooner we have those names, because when we make the decisions, yes, it will be based on the numbers that we have at hand. But to your question, that is one of the reasons we hold on any of the, transfer requests or any of the, sibling decisions, right? If it's a student who that's not their school of residency and they have siblings at that school, that would be one of the last decisions to be made. And when I say June, it really could be even as close to August. I know there've been cases in the past within this district, and the district I was at before this, it happened as well, where it was the day before school was going to begin, and we were making final approvals at that time just because we knew exactly where our numbers were and spots opened up. So ultimately, yes, it helps for us to know as soon as we can, but we consider that and take that into consideration, which is the reason we wait so long for the transfer requests.
Is the link for pre-registration on the website, or what is it?
Could you repeat the
The link,
question? Sorry.
the link on the
It is on the website. Yes.
Thanks.
Any other questions? I see one over there.
So with the comment of TK not being in your neighborhood, if the numbers are too high when my neighborhood classes, how do they decide if kids are going to be displaced? Is it lottery or what? Does that make any sense? Sorry. So
if there's, you mean
so say my kid is in the Forest Grove district, but
the second TK class. How do they decide if they're gonna stop water at the time? And that, you know, I don't think when we get to that point, we would have to consider those, and that's really where the language that we have, that we are showing, you know, what the criteria, the priority order is on how we make those decisions. But again, that's also why it's important. We're looking at the enrollment numbers now that we have everyone in the system, which is why we're encouraging everyone to please get those names in so that we can avoid a situation such as that, right? And that's too, you know, when we're looking at inter-district transfers, if we make that decision to open up a space at one of the school sites, you know, we'll take that into consideration as well. So again, great questions, and I don't have, you know, definitive answers for you, but just know we take all of those criteria into consideration. And I know it's you know, I do want to just say that I know all of you as parents, you want to know exactly now, you know, where your kiddo is going to be, and it's hard to be able to, you know, have that patience to know you've got to wait till May, right? But just know that, you know, I can speak with confidence that no matter which of the two schools, right, the students end up that they are both excellent programs. They are part of Pacific Grove Unified School District, which, you know, is just, it is an excellent, it's an excellent school district and both excellent schools. And so just know that. And again, for that TK year, right, it really would apply to if that were to occur, you know, for 1 year, like before students come into. And then for our kindergarten numbers, you know, I know that was really part of the question, but Director Roman, would you like to speak, or perhaps one of our principals for kindergarten numbers? I think and I'm really pointing to one of them because I don't know the exact number where we sort of cap numbers out for kindergarten.
I'm not going to be much help on that either. I know that currently we have 2 kindergarten classes at each one of our schools, and that currently we, you know, anticipate that that's going to be sufficient to serve the population for both neighborhood schools. That the projections for the numbers at this time will support 2 classes at each school, but will not necessitate a 3rd at either school. Okay. Oh, we have another question.
It's maybe way too premature, but what does mobility look like between TK and K if your birthday is really on the cusp and like you're a week and like do they really need more of what K offers, but the state has mandated?
Right. Excellent question. So this is talking really just about how firm are the deadlines that are established by the state with the district's application of those deadlines. And we can't give a definitive answer on that. That we do, you know, adhere strictly to the dates that the state gives us. Okay, so I don't know if that's the answer that you were hoping to hear, but we have not made an exception for a child that's really close. Either to enter kindergarten or to stay in TK, that we, you know, adhere to the deadlines that the state gives us strictly.
If a couple months into the school year, you see that the child would benefit intellectually in a different level, has their mobility, or is it strictly you start in TK and you finish the year?
Right, so the question is, once the child starts in the program, if it looks like they'd be a better fit for TK if they're in kindergarten, or kindergarten if they're in TK, do we switch a child during the year? And the answer to that is also no, that we haven't made that kind of switch during the school year, right? Thank you for those questions.
We can't differentiate the learning because TK has the same curriculum as kindergarten. It's just it begins later in the year and it's they take a lighter approach. There is the ability, I know from this and my in class, to kind of have the kids who need a little bit more to dig a little deeper into the curriculum, and the ones that are still doing bubble dance learning spend more time doing
That's an excellent answer, because I think that one thing that parents need to know too is not every single child in 3rd grade is at a 3rd grade reading level. So really the approach that the district takes is we meet the children where they're at, and then we concentrate on trying to grow them from that point. So our teachers have a lot of expertise and experience in teaching and enriching the curriculum for the students that are, excelling ahead of the grade level, and then also intervening and providing the instructional supports for our students that might not be at grade level. Okay, thank you. Yes.
Are there opportunities available for those of us that would like to visit the school with our child before the school starts?
Opportunities to visit the school with their child before the school year starts. That's an excellent question. We don't have a lot of people that come to visit our school during the school day with your children. One of the things that's always available is to come to the campuses on weekends and to kind of acclimate your child to what the setting is going to be. What we haven't done are classroom visits for families to try out the kindergarten program.
Yeah, but there is
Before the school year starts, there is a meet and greet that happens at both schools, so you get a chance to meet the teacher and also check out the classroom setting. The week before school starts. Yeah. The day before school starts.
And also, if you want
Chris,
to,
I'm gonna have you.
yeah. Another thing that you can do both with our Socorro and myself, you can get some information and email us. And we, as a PTA, can put you in touch with a parent that is in Forest Grove and is with, or Robert Down. And this person would be in the PTA and they can help you guys out, just kind of figure out a little bit more what their experience has been. So I feel like talking to parents before I moved here, I actually talked to parents from Forest Grove and Robert Down. And so I got it, like we decided to go to Forest Grove, and that was based on the information I got from just parents that, their experience there. So.
Thank you for that. All right, I'm just gonna check online to see if we have any questions. And I don't see any hands raised online. And so I think I'm gonna turn it back over to Superintendent Adams. Did somebody put their hand up?
Top left.
Top left. There we go. I was looking at the hand icon. Yes, it looks like Ms. Paddock.
I was just wondering if there was resources to talk to about the special needs program, or how we find out more about that.
Absolutely. I don't know if Yolanda Court Anthony is still here. Yeah, she sure is. So do you have a specific question? One of the things that our special education program is available to our students that are in transitional kindergarten and in kindergarten as well. So the resources that would be available to students in other grades are made available to our TK and kindergarten students. So if a child is on a speech IEP, then we have our speech and language pathologist that is available if the student needs resources, services, or as part of a special day class program. We have all of those available to our students in transitional kindergarten and in kindergarten. Does that answer the question?
Not really. I guess I'm more specific. My daughter would be going into kindergarten. She turned 5 today. But she's on the spectrum and is like functionally nonverbal, but doesn't have a lot of behavioral issues. And I haven't figured out, I don't really understand how it's determined which school she'll go to, because I was told she'll be evaluated to determine whether or not she'll go to Robert Down or Forest Grove. And I'm kind of wondering when it happens and what the criteria is.
Right, and we've got Yolanda Cork Anthony that's going to make her way to the front. She's really the expert in this area. And so she can address the question. And also, if it's a conversation that you want to have with her one-on-one, she would absolutely make herself available for that conversation. Just watching her work, I know that's how she is. So, Yolanda.
So to answer your question, absolutely, I am available for any questions that parents may have regarding the process. But with a student with special needs, If they don't have an IEP, there's a process that they have to go through. And so there is a referral for that process. And then teams conduct an evaluation to see if your child's eligible for special education. And if so, then the team, based on those assessment results, decide as a team what services are available. So services are available for students in the school setting from ages 3 all the way through 21. So that's what the law says and requires to serve students on IEPs. But for your jobs, especially, we can have a one-on-one and then we start from there to start the process.
Thank you, Yolanda. Are there any other questions? Looks like we have a hand. Donnie Post, if you'd like to.
Yeah. If our child is already in TK, do we need to go through the pre-register and registration process for kindergarten, or are they already in a system?
They're already in the system, so what you want to look for is the registration message that's going to go out on May 1st, because all students do have to register every year. You just won't have to do the pre-reg. Any other questions? Any other questions? Yes.
I'm not sure I'm going to speak to this, but how much is gender ideology taught into the curriculum in school? So, for example, little kids, maybe you have a boy who likes to play with dolls. That's totally fine. But does the school kind of take control of that, and will they be teaching, for example, my daughter that maybe she can be a him, or for example, something like that?
The district is always supportive of any sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression that students come to us with. It is not part of the curriculum that we teach that talks about choosing a gender. That it's more that the teachers are going to teach the class just as they always do, and what manifests is what is going to be supported in the education setting. So for the example that you gave, if a boy is playing with dolls, one thing our teachers will not do is discourage that boy from playing with dolls. Okay, and by the same token, if there is a girl that is interested in things that are more traditionally associated with being a male, people aren't going to discourage the girl student from doing those things either. That really the student is going to kind of take the lead on that exploration if that's what they're curious about. Dr. Adamson, is there anything that you'd like to add to that? Or, okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe I will.
Sure.
And I do think anytime questions like that come up, please feel free to reach out to myself, to our principals, staff, to our teachers. And I know those are things we want to be able to walk you through. And with the curriculum, I think that question can apply to anything. I think we, want to be as transparent as possible. I know that we make that curriculum available to any parent who comes forward asking, and they see, the content of one particular subject, or look at the books that are being used, and we make that available. Anytime we select a new curriculum, there is an entire process that we go through. Once that curriculum has been selected, we put it on a 30-day review, where anyone from the public, anyone from our parent community is able to come in and actually look at those books. And we share very publicly what the process is that we follow. And our teachers are heavily involved in that. Director Rogerman, as our director of curriculum, leads that process, and it's incredibly collaborative as well. So we want to be as open as possible with that. And so any questions you have, I encourage you, please bring them forward so we can have deeper conversations about them. Any other questions before we close out? Let's take one more.
What time is school?
It's the most important part, right? It's slightly different for TK at the two sites, so I'm gonna go ahead and maybe ask Mrs. Rydell for Robert Down. They begin, TK begins at. No, TK. It's the same, perfect, so 8:40 until 2:10, right, and kindergarten. Same time, that's right, and then what about at Forest?
First road, we're 8:45 to
8:45 to 2 o'clock, and it's the same for TK and kindergarten, right? Most important question right there. We saved it for the end. That's great. Oh, except for Thursdays, because that is a minimum day and.
Yeah, it's a 1:55 this century,
No. So 1:55 at Robert Down and what time at Forest Grove?
We're the table, 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. All right, very good. And Thursdays is typically the time that our teachers, we do their professional learning community time, so they meet together in their grade levels to plan. And so, and we have staff meetings at that time as well, so that's why Thursdays are a little early usually. Okay.
Does anybody remember the first day of school? I was looking it up. So,
August 8th.
It's on the website.
Yes. It is on the website, just to show you that.
It's Tuesday of the second week in August is what I know. So I think it's August 6th, but don't quote me on that. Check your phone.
The sixth.
There it is.
August 6th, it's a Tuesday, our first day of school. I see one more question at the end and then we'll probably close it down, and we as a staff will remain a little bit afterwards if you want to stop by and ask any individual questions. So let's make this our last question and then we will close the evening out. Go ahead.
Hard drive, pick up, drop off.
It is, yes. And the question is about school pickup and drop off. If you could pick up and drop off, via a car, like if we sort of have a lane of cars, right, that we do like a valet. Does someone want to just speak to what that is?
I can speak to Forest Grove. Forest Grove, there is a drop off in the morning, like a car drop off in the morning. The afternoon, it's more of a walk up to a gate, just because we want to make sure that every kid is matched up with an adult. So for safety purposes, the parking is usually pretty okay. Same for both sides.
No, not for the drop off.
Okay.
We don't have a vehicle lane for a drop off. We have multiple gates at Robert Down. And so you would park somewhere around the school and walk your child to the gate.
Way zero.
Yes. So, but drop off. Pickup is the same as far as growth. We always look for an adult before we send your child out. We don't want to have them walk out alone, so.
It can be a little tricky on Thursdays at Forest Grove, since the whole school, every grade level, will all be getting on at 2 o'clock. So that's the day that parking can be a little tricky for TK there. So the rest of the week, you guys are there before anyone else.
Is there any other questions?
Hi, when my son went to Robert Down, he used to walk into his classroom. Are we still doing that? COVID, just drop them off at the gate. How does it work now? Do I walk Ariel to the classroom or just the gate?
It's gate.
To the gate, okay.
Thank you.
Does the teacher meet them at the gate, or do they just?
In the beginning of the year, a teacher or a 3 days. Yeah.
We have runners,
Plenty of room.
like all hands on deck for TK kinder drop off the first week of school. Probably 4, because it's.
TK and Robert Down, and every day we meet you at the gate, every day, the whole year, and we walk you back out to the gate. Because we're poor.
Okay, yes, I have a question. For kids who are TK kinder and then they have an older one, I'm talking from Robert Down. What typically do you think that parents are doing with their one kid for like an hour before they pick up the other?
BASRP.
We have a lot of kids. The after school program accommodates that at 2 to 3. And, that works really well because it's just kinder from 2 to 3.
Yeah. And you can come over and ask me what I did if you want to.
Or there's a big group of families that play at the Caterpillar Park between 2 and 3.
Great question. Thanks.
They really were. We got all of the meat of the information at the end through your question. Excuse me. So when I would have it close up there, I just want to say one more time, thank you so much for being here this evening, for joining us. As I said, we will remain behind if you have individual questions to answer some of those. But we are so looking forward to your children beginning to the start of a new year. And definitely, I love the fact that we had our PTA here tonight. There are a lot of events between now and the end of the year. And so, that could also be a great opportunity to just, stop by and become, a part and participate in some of it, right? So again, thank you. Good evening. We are so grateful you were here. Once again, a round of applause for Director Brockman for leading us. Thank you again. Yeah.